What's up, y'all? Everybody, welcome to Nitro Nation. We had a bit of a lockup. There at the start. I don't know what happened. The timer got to 4 seconds, and all of a sudden, everything just stopped. Everything was completely paused on my end, so we had to reset real quick. But I think we only lost, I don't know, maybe a couple minutes. Not bad. Had to back up and punt. But welcome to Nitro Nation and the NHRA coverage of the Texas Fall National Stampede of Speed in Ennis, Texas, at the Texas Motorplex. Heck of a weekend it was. Some points battles are starting to kind of really come in, not clear, but the picture is starting to get a little bit more clear. Doug Kalitta kind of stretched it out there. Austin Prock put back on Hagan what he lost last week to Hagan, or 2 weeks ago. So kind of stretched that out. Dallas Glenn got a little bit back on Greg, and Richard Gadson stretched it on out on Gage. Man, I tell you, I'm interested in Richard. I've been on him since Bristol, since he got that first Wally, and you'll see it later in the clip. Richard's confidence is where Richard's confidence and swagger that I'm hearing in his tone of voice and in his interviews is the same confidence and swagger that I was hearing from Gage early in the season when Gage seemed to be unstoppable. So interesting to see what goes on here coming down to the wire in the points. I think this got deleted. Let me add this. We can add this here in just a second. All right. So, like I said, Texas Fall National Stampede of Speed in Texas Motorplex in Ennis, Texas. Lots on the line. There are three to go here at this point. 2 to go after this race. So it's kind of put up or shut up time for the points if you're trying to make some points up. But let's dive right into qualifying for the motorcycle. Again, like I said, early in the season, Gage Herrera was unstoppable, man. He was always at the top. But look who's at the top now, Richard Gadson. Sneaking back in, number one, just consistently getting down the track. Consistency, always getting down the track. And decent on the tree. He had kind of a rough light in the first round. But overall, pretty good on the tree. I don't know what happened in that first round. I didn't really get to see much of it. Let's get the video of the qualifying shot, though. Sorry. We had to, since I had to reset, it knocked this video out.
$11 and $25 on the tree. They are treating it as it should be treated. 6:74.7 for Gadson. Yes, sirree, as Herrera goes down the racetrack at 6:80. But Gadson, best 60-foot time of the round, 163.
So there you go. What did they say? When they go?
6:74.7 for Gadson. Yes, sirree, as Herrera goes down the racetrack at 6:80.
74. So Richard went a 74, and Gage could only muster a 680. That's It's quite a bit of difference. And there you go. In round one, Richard Gadson backs it up with a 6.75 going down there to the bracket car within 100th. The second part of the ladder is start Gage Rare qualifying 16th there. Made it all the way to the semifinals. Let me tell you, Braden Davis is going to win a race soon. This is his second final in a row. Let's take a look at how he did, though.
But Gadson, best 60-foot time of the round, 100.
Sorry.
The four-cylinder Suzuki engine screaming off the starting line. Gadson was 0-11 to Davis's 31, and Richard Gadson 6.79 beats a 6.
0-11 on the tree, 79. So like just the whole weekend, just lap after lap after lap, he's just there, just staying on top of the track conditions, not pressing it too much, but on top of the tree too. And 11 to a 31, it's going to win you quite a few races in most pro categories nowadays. You get a couple hundreds on somebody, you're going to make some rounds. But there again, just constantly just getting down the track, one lap after another.
It's 81, and Richard Gadson has officially taken high control of Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Wow, I'm looking at Richard Gadson at the top end, and I see the emotions here as the number 4 sets in for you, the second of this countdown. Who wins the Pro Stock Motorcycle Championship?
I hope it's me. I want it bad.
I heard him say that. And you always hear people say, "Oh, I wish he would," or people talk about the competition. Oh, yeah, well, I don't know. There's a lot of bikes in that could do this and that. Nah, he wants it. No, I hope it's me. I hope it's me. I like it. I love that. I love that attitude. I love that momentum that he's got. He's got some passion. And he's my pick. He's been my pick since the countdown started.
And I hope that my results are showing that I'm focused, I'm locked in. 2 years ago, I came here auditioning for this Vance & Hines gig, and I messed it up every way from Sunday. I never left the starting line. So I wanted Dallas bad. Dallas hadn't been too good to me, but I got to win today. This was a big points day for me. I'm like over the top. But, each one, the first one's supposed to be the sweetest, but each one's just getting better and better. This is a big day. Thank you, Revzilla Motul, Vance & Hines, Suzuki, Lincoln Welders, Summit Racing. I got some of you guys. I missed some of you guys, but I'm too excited right now. Thank you, guys.
Bam. There you go. Let's take a look at them points. So there you go. Richard Gadson stretches it out to 72-point lead over Gage Rare. A lot of people thought that we would be in this position at this point in the season. But Richard Gadson making the laps that he needs to make when he needs to make them. And let's not forget, this next race is our standard points. So it's only going to be 20 points per round, 3 points for the low ET of the session, 2 and 1 for the second, third. And like I said, 20 points per round. So this next race is standard. So at 70 points, it's 3 rounds, 3.5 rounds, and a number 2 qualifier, right? So that's almost you're getting into not a full race territory, but you're getting close. If you can go one more round and then gauge the next race, you're into, you're starting to really count to where you need to be. I mean, obviously, you're going to want to win. You're going to go out there to win, but there's also that thinking about it in the back of your mind. All right, where do I need to be? Where am I at? I know I heard Dallas, or I think maybe Dallas talks about it in his post race interview about, well, their points are where they're at, and it's 60 and yada yada yada. But speaking of pro stock, top of the ladder, Greg Anderson puts her on the pole, 652. No, what do you go? Let's go this. Sorry, I had the wrong number.
Oh, yeah. Greg is on a hot one right now. Anderson, Jake's side of the racetrack, 6:49.7. There you go, Matt Hartford. The premonition comes true, and right behind him was Reed on his taillights.
50 with a 4 for Corey Reed, number 2. Greg Anderson, number 1.
49 with a 7 So puts him at the top of the charts in pro stock qualifying. Again, Sean Reed though Corey Reed with a fantastic lap in his own right, a 50. Dallas Glenn slotting in third, Latino sixth. Where did she was on that side of the ladder? Where we at here? Erica rocking in fifth. So right there, good battles. Of course, we saw the videos I put out today. Aaron Stanfield got past Erica, the 5 versus 12. Very interesting in NHRA. The qualifying ladders aren't as predictable as they once were. Used to, you could kind of see well through where people were going to wind up. Man, nowadays you never know. It's an interesting battle through here. Other side of the ladder looks like that. Let's go take a look at this final. Obviously, Dallas gets to the final. He gets through Cody Coughlin. He gets through Latino and then gets through Jeg Coughlin. But Greg got loaded up in round 2 by Derek Kramer. By Stanfield. Not round 2, round 3 by Stanfield. So Stanfield makes it to the final, puts out Greg in the semifinal, but in this other side of the ladder, Dallas, as we see here, makes it all the way through to the final round. So that, what was it, 25 points last week that Greg had? All right, we're stretching it out now. Dallas is starting to stretch it out. Let's see what this final round looks like. Wrong clip.
Both cars picking the front end up. It's 100th separation on the starting line. Across the finish line stripe, and it will be Dallas Glenn, 660 with a 5. Beats a 662.2. Jolie Stanfield expressing the emotion of sadness on the starting line as the Rad Torque Systems crew celebrates as they've done so much this year.
Dallas, you just said, I've always wanted one of these, and your 20th career Wally will be your 7th this season with Greg Anderson out earlier today. Why might this race be the difference maker in this countdown?
Well, that'll take it from 40 to 60, so that's 2 rounds in Pomona. So we need to stop Greg from getting those little points there during qualifying. We need to just keep getting more rounds, keep going. This one's for John Peterson. You know, he's a coworker. Everybody knows him, nicest guy ever. You know, we lost him. He lost his battle of cancer. Man, I love winning in front of the Rad Torque owners. Rad Torque System, you can't thank them enough. I mean, I wouldn't be here without them. For 5 years, they've supported me. I love everything about them. Summit, HendrickCars.com, DPF Parts Direct, Jesse, J&A Service, VP Fuels. Thank you.
Big win for Dallas Glenn. Again, stretch that points lead on out. Where we at here? To 60 points. But again, next week is only 20 points around. But going into Pomona, it's 30 points around. So like you said, 60 points is only 2 rounds in Pomona. So if you get put out in the first round and you know, your competition makes it to the final, so that 1.5 there at the very end of the season makes it a little tantalizing at the very end, to where you can maximize your points and not be truly out of it until you're absolutely mathematically out of it. But back to the action. Don't forget, we're talking about the Texas Fall Nationals, the Stampede of Speed. Friday night qualifying in Funny Car. Austin Prock to the top, finding his rhythm. Matt Hagan made a nice little chunk there at St. Louis. Made up some ground, had some momentum coming in, but Prock and the gang just absolutely come in and lay it down.
Prock marching away from Laughlin. Laughlin on the center line. Prock goes 387, 336 miles an hour. Absolute hammer shot down there.
336 miles an hour, he said.
Absolute hammer shot down there. Prock goes 387,
336 mile an hour. That is absolutely rolling. That is rolling. Man, Jimmy finding the tune-up, and Austin just keeping it straight in the lane and driving it right down the center of Broadway. Hard to beat that team right now. They've got all the momentum, seemingly all the talent everywhere. Hard to be beat right now. Other side of the ladder. Found Ron Capps qualifying second. Cruiser, last week's winner or last race winner at St. Louis, dialed in seventh there. Fast Jack third. He needed to have a good day, and he got put out in the second round. It's going to kind of wash that out. We're going to look at the points here in a little bit, but we had Caps getting to the semifinals and then getting put out by Daniel Wilkerson. And on the other side of the ladder, it was Austin Prock taking it all the way and facing off in the semifinals against Chad Green. And Chad just couldn't make the number. And Austin just went down there and laid down a number a little late on the tree. A little scary, but Chad just couldn't get there. Let's take a look at how that final went between Caps and Prock.
The parachute's out for Caps. Austin Prock rips his way to a Texas victory, 395.9 at 328. This race stymied them last year. They had trouble in the early rounds. A mistake stopped them. Nothing stopped them today.
Austin Prock laughing up here about the size of this cowboy hat, but I don't think it matters about the size of the points that you have in this championship. Austin, I know what you're looking at on that time slip. Why are you your toughest competitor out here?
Well, I just want to be the best all the time, for not only for myself, but really for my team. You know, they put a lot of work into this, and I just have to go play for, 3.9 seconds. But they work day in, day out, and bust their tails in this heat, and to bring home a win. All my boys are getting cowboy hats, and they're stoked about that. My blower guy Bobby is getting married in the winter, and they're wearing cowboy hats to his wedding. So we're all getting cowboy hats. You're welcome, Bobby. Good job today, and really proud of this Cornwell Tools team. Everyone at Task Force Ray Hall that was out here this weekend, super cool to get them in the winner's circle, and proud of my family, proud of this team. Thank you.
Man, he's a live wire. He is definitely from the John Force camp. He is a live wire. I love it. I love it. But there's your points now. See, he stretched it out. He's 112. Don't forget, if 60 points was 2 rounds in Pomona, 120 points would be 4 rounds. We're at 112. If we get much next week, could wrap it on up. Potentially, so he could score 80 points, which would put him 200 out, 60, 30, 60, 90, yes, would be toast. If he can get to 60, 120, 240, if he can get to 241, right? That's right. Well, hold on. So if you qualify first in the first session, you would get 4 points. If you're low ET in the second, third, and fourth session, you get 4 points each, because that'd be at Pomona, right? Because that's a different deal. So it's 16 that you could get there in qualifying, and then 150 for a race win plus 16 is going to put you at 66. Yep, 240. If you can get to 240, he's going to be good. Going out of here. But it's good shape, dude. They're on it. I thought that Hagen was going to steal a little bit of momentum coming in, especially off that win in St. Louis. But Prock, he got healthy. I guess he was sick, right? Wasn't he sick in St. Louis? No, that was the race before. But they're getting it tuned in right here at the end of the season, where you want to be swapping haymakers between Hagan and them. But I would rather swap haymakers in the lead than trying to catch. But Top Fuel is, man, it's starting to be a bit of a runaway. Doug Kalitta, Alan Johnson are absolutely laying down the numbers that they need to lay down in eliminations. They've been fast. They've been fast in qualifying, don't get me wrong, but really where it counts in eliminations, they've been absolutely flawless, it seems like, especially the last two races. Although I want to give props to Edda Zetterstrom. Made it to the finals in St. Louis, got to the second round in here in Texas, kind of ran into a buzzsaw here against Doug, but made a good pass. I mean, at 384, at 323, like, still a good pass. Glad to see her making some laps, going some rounds. Had a pretty good explosion in round one against Antron, but Antron had smoked the tires earlier, and Edda got out on him, and the explosion happened, but it didn't matter. Antron couldn't catch her. So she moved on to round two, and then, like I said, ran into the buzzsaw against Doug in round two. But Sean Langdon, your number one qualifier, got into the semifinals against Doug, and I mean, there you go. Doug made it to the final. Sean Reed on the other side of the ladder, our buddy Sean Reed with a number two qualifier, got to the second round, and I don't know what happened in the second round. I wasn't able to catch it. But he come up short, ran a 407 at 257. Something happened. I think he broke something. Inevitably, I believe something broke. But that put Steve Torrance into the semifinals with Brittany Force, and Brittany couldn't even get staged up. Did a burnout and aborted the run. Canopy came up and they were done. I don't know what happened. Got to follow up with that. But Steve Torrance with a bye run, break single into the final. And let's take a look at that final.
Doug Kalitta, 55 light last round. Steve's going to have to step on it to stay with that. And again, the dragsters explode off the starting line. Misfiring cylinders for Torrance. Doug Kalitta, another win. 377.7, 333 miles an hour. Torrance took the starting.
377 set 777s going into Vegas. You're going to tell me that the last run that you run in Texas is a 777 and you're headed to Vegas. Somebody put some money on Kalitta to win Vegas. That's an omen right there, boys. 777s headed to Vegas. Let's go. Let's watch the end of that.
Doug Kalitta,
Alan Johnson.
Championship run.
And Doug, we talked to you at the top of the show, and you told us that the difference for you today between the other competitors was your team, Alan Johnson, and led by you, the driver. How massive will today be for your second championship hunt?
Yeah, we're trying to go rounds and stay ahead of these guys. You know, everybody's hungry right now, so just really hats off to, you know, Toyota, Mac Tools, you know, RevCam, everybody that supports us here in Kalitta Air. So, yeah, huge relief to get this win here. Real big deal for us.
All right, so the points. So now he's at 141. Starting to stretch it out. Justin Ashley, we saw in the ladders. Where was he at? He got put out in the second round by Brittany Force. By the way, Josh Hart going to John Force Racing. I don't know if we mentioned that last 2 weeks ago, but I know. Remember, he sold all this stuff to Johnson's Horsepower, to Elite, and going to race for John Force Racing and the Top Fueler to take over for Brittany Force. So excited to see what Josh Hart can do in that equipment. I got a feeling it's going to be really, really good. But here's your points. Here are your top fuel points going into Vegas. Again, Doug Kalitta just starting to stretch it out. good battle for second. Second and third, Sean Langdon and Justin Ashley is going to be a pretty good battle. But if Doug stays course, it's going to be tough for anybody to make any headway or catch him at all, if that. But again, let's go back and look at these points again. Pro Stock Motorcycle is here. Richard Gadson again with a 72-point lead going into Vegas. Again, this next race is only a 20-point per round race, and then the 3, the 2, and the 1 for the qualifying low qualifying sessions. 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, fastest, second, and then third. That's for all 4 rounds of qualifying, and then each round is worth 20 points in eliminations. And then so going into Vegas here, Richard Gadson's carrying basically a 20, 40, 3.5 round lead over Gage Herrera on the traditional point systems. Going into Vegas, Dallas Glenn's got again a 3-round lead in going into Vegas on Dallas Glenn's got a 3-round lead on Greg Anderson going into Vegas. I thought I picked Greg to come back and win. It's going to take some doing. Dallas seems just a little bit more on it than I guess I had really given him credit for. I thought that he was. I mean, obviously I knew he's on it. Don't get me wrong. I just thought, I don't know, some told me Greg was going to come out and get it, but that's not looking like the case at all. And then our top fuel points, again, Austin Prock stretched it back out to 112. Matt Hagan had it tightened up, but that big win by Austin Prock, really seals the deal. But we're going to start warming up the bands pretty soon in some of these categories, especially the fuel categories, funny car and top fuel. Start to warm the band up, boys. If we have an Austin Prock and if we have Austin Prock anywhere near the finals in Vegas and Doug Collette anywhere near the finals in Vegas, it's going to be heated in Pomona, and it'll be interesting to see what the tuners do when they get to Pomona too, coming out of Vegas, because there's also the bonus points for the record. So we'll see. But we will. Let's see, when is we'll be back live, coming to you with coverage from Las Vegas, Nevada, on November 3rd. So I know that's about a month out, man, a little less than a month. I want to have an in-between show in between there on, let's say, I don't know. Maybe we'll have one next week we'll probably have one on the 27th right before Vegas, and then have one on the 3rd right after Vegas, kind of an intro into Vegas, and then a post-Vegas show. So we'll see you again on October 27th. You guys, thanks for tuning in tonight on Nitro Nation. I've been Big Duke, your host. Thanks for joining. You guys keep digging. Big Duke out.